And hello and welcome to another of our sessions with Jusatoon and her Aurora. You may notice in the description that I actually say it's Jusatoon's Aurora. And we're back. Sorry for the sound cut out there. As usual, I forgot when I changed screens to fix something there that it also killed my mic. One of these days I'll get used to that and rig it so the mic is working when I actually want it to. If you read the description on the YouTube, you'll notice that the Aurora, or Jusatoon's Aurora, is now the Aurora Australis. And I had two choices. I was kind of mulling it over for a while. I was thinking, oh, the Aurora, you know, the Northern Lights and the Southern Lights. Aurora Borealis, the Northern Lights, Aurora Australis, the Southern Lights. In the end, I decided on Aurora Australis because I'm Australian. I'm in the Southern Hemisphere, so that is the name of Jusatoon's Aurora. And I think that answers a question you raised. I think it was you, Rolandus, who asked what I was going to name ships in Star Citizen. After a bit of thought, I figured that Jusatoon needed to have her trusty ship named, and so it has become the Aurora Australis. A rather lofty sounding name for a swimming ship. It certainly won't be lighting up any lights anywhere. Here she's running. Dear me, slow down, girl. So we're on one of the space stations. I can't remember which one we're on actually. Not Olisar. So it might be Microtex. Alright, not even going to try this. Oh, we're at Arccore L1. There you go. Would never have picked that. Ah, yes, I do remember now. That was because yesterday, or last session we did a box mission. And the box mission was for the Aurora. Sorry, the box mission ended up bringing me here as the last box, and so that is why I'm here. I don't think I streamed that session. I think I may have been just doing it quickly to see how many I could try and get through in an hour or two. What hanger was it? I think pad number 2. So I couldn't remember whether I streamed it or not. I don't think I did actually, now that I think of it. But we did a box mission. I was originally going to try and do 2 or 3 at the same time, but as I was running out of time, I ended up just doing the one box mission and literally finished it just as I was being needing to run out the door. So a box mission took about 55 minutes. I could probably, if you ran everywhere, get it down to 50, which is not too bad. It's the type of thing you can do in game to earn credits. Then doing that's not necessarily exciting, but it does get you to different locations where you can see what's going on, or see the different aspects of the world, make a little crash, and just learn, I suppose, how to fly your ship. Now, I did also try, in my previous stream session, I did try to show you the advantages of Arena Commander and the value of it for learning how to do combat. But having tried that and having spent several hours, I think it was almost a 2-hour stream of battling, and I call it battling, with the actual Arena Commander itself, I wouldn't touch it. It is a woeful, abysmal, buggy mess. So if I was doing, I was doing Pirate Swarm, I was doing it in the Aurora. The downside of that was that I had no wreck, which is this Arena Commander is the in-game sim. That's almost the in-game simulation for practicing so you can improve your dogfighting skills. At the moment, it's actually separated from PU. Eventually, we will get simpods. If you go to Microtech, you can actually see the simpods in Microtech. And at one time, we had those even in our hangars, and they were a way we would access Arena Commander. At the moment, we can also access Arena Commander and the Star Marine via the main menu. We tried to go for Arena Commander yesterday, and the disappointing thing with that was the fact that once I was in game, I couldn't equip the Aurora as I have it in game. It just, the files wouldn't cross over, and that was one of the things that they used to say would happen. And so I couldn't practice fighting in this Aurora, because this is not the Aurora that I get in Arena Commander. I get the stock loadout. Now, because I've got access to the Dragonfly, I was able to equip that with the Dragonfly's 2 scatterguns, but it still wasn't the Aurora equipped with energy weapons. And so that was a frustration. The second frustration that I found was the fact that the Aurora would not, not the Aurora, but the Arena Commander wouldn't allow me to exit from a game once it ended. In the first session I tried, the ship left the confines of the game and froze. So one of the disadvantages of Arena Commander is it's on a small map, so you have to watch where you're going, otherwise you end up leaving the system, or losing a life. And that was a frustration in itself. The other thing that was frustrating, hey Trey, good to see you. The other thing that was frustrating doing Arena Commander was that as the sessions would end, you would be stuck and have to either crash to desktop or literally exit out of the game, literally close the game down so that you could actually log back in again. Now, I'm not sure if any other people have had or experienced that problem. It was certainly the problem I experienced every attempted session. And it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be as horrendously difficult as it was yesterday. And so the advantages of being able to go into Arena Commander to practice your piloting skills and have just an endless swarm of pirates in 10 waves, with everything from Auroras to P-52s to Hammerheads come at you over the scale of these increasingly difficult sessions, was null and void. The advantages of being able to then get wiped out or finish the game and start it again and just run it through again were a waste of time. It just didn't work, and that was frustrating. The fact that the character had no wreck, and even having attempted to do Arena Commander, unless they finished Arena Commander, they weren't getting wreck. They needed to be in Arena Commander with other players for that to work, to earn wreck. Wreck would have enabled me to rent, or in the sim game system, to rent aspects to try on the ship. but I couldn't do that either. And so that was I found that a real frustration. And the annoying thing with it is not so much that it wasn't so much that it was that it was a buggy mess that was annoying me. The worst thing that annoyed me, that CIG know it's a buggy mess. They literally stopped working on it because the testing that they used to get through, and I'm guessing that the sound of the game is too loud at the moment. Is that right, guys? Or can you still hear me clearly? If the engine sounds did overwhelm my voice, let me know and I'll get into game and I'll lower those down. But one of the things that frustrates me with Arena Commander in its current form is knowing it's a buggy mess and not having updated it because their testing is being done in the PU. It really is frustrating that it's there as a link that new players could touch. Thanks for that, Trey. Oh, that's even better if you can't hear the game. Well, I suppose it could be better that you don't hear the game sounds at all. I would like them to come through a little bit because it gives you, at least it breaks up the silence, the sound of silence. But I suppose it's a bit like space. But the frustration with Arena Commander, knowing that it's a buggy mess, CIG have it there as an option that new players could go into. And that is just something that will just frustrate them. And it is really, really annoying. The fact that they haven't improved it, the fact that they haven't kept it up with a current, that it doesn't, you know, take the files from your game, from your current in-game character and put them in as available to you in the game, is also frustrating. It would be much better for CIG to actually deactivate Arena Commander until it was fixed. And they just leave it there. And I just think it's bad form. It really looks sloppy to have something you know is broken there for people to see, especially when you know that you don't intend to fix it and you're not trying to fix it in the interim patches. The org that I'm in game, Southern Cross Alliance, we used to run the Crux Cup. The last couple of years we didn't run it just because we couldn't get the Arena Commander to be stable enough. We kept having crashes. We couldn't guarantee that when we got in we'd get the right people into the matches that we were running through the race tracks, and so it became a greater headache than a joy to run that competition. Yeah, it's just frustrating and annoying that it's like that. I find it annoying when CIG's when Sean Tracy has said that, you know, things like, you know, he's talking about Theatres of War, which is one of the game modes that were put into Arena Commander, or as a standalone. He said it must be fun. We're not putting it up because it must be fun, and yet they've got Arena Commander there and it's broken and it's not fun just because it's broken and it's so bad. And yeah, I'm frustrated and annoyed, as you probably can tell. So yeah, so anyway, what is Jusatoon going to do today? I figured that Jusatoon would just get into Arena, well, not in Arena Commander, would just get into her Aurora Australis, and she would take the trip to Crusader, and we're going to do either some box missions or do mining. I haven't really decided. I think back in my head I'm going mining. If I can find one of the exploration missions, or one of the find missions to find a missing person, then I'll do that. Because those missions where you're looking for someone who's gone missing are usually in a mine. There's usually mine stuff to gather. It's an exploration and you find the missing person and then leave. So if I can find one of those available in the mission log, that's what we're going to do, I think. So let's have a look at our mission log, and we open our mission log as per usual by opening our Mobiglass with F1. Once we've got F1, we look down at the bottom. We've got our comlink, our vehicle loadout, our equipment manager, the sky map or the map, our money trader, and the contract manager, and that's what we want. So we're looking for personal. Well, gee, there's a lot of really good missions there. Clearly we are not in an area where there's lots of missions available outside of planetary systems, and so at the moment we've got a joyful load of nothing. So we will close that down until we get to the system, or until we get to Crusader at least. So what I'm trying to do at the moment, I'm not sure whether it is working, but at the moment I am actually streaming to both YouTube and Twitch. I have no idea whether Twitch is working. I can see at the moment that YouTube is working, and yeah, so I guess I'll find out a bit later. If one of you guys want to check out, jump into the Algared Twitch TV channel or whatever it is, and see if there's actually a stream for Jusatoon and Aurora, and let me know. That would be awesome. But don't feel you need to. Alright, so we're now back at Crusader. We are going to go to Port Olisar. The reason we're going to go to Port Olisar, when we as you can see, it's obstructed. So what we need to do is go to the orbital marker. Where is the orbital marker? That one might do. And the reason we need to go to the orbital marker is so we get around the planet, so we can get to Olisar. And the reason I want to do that is so we can actually recharge our quantum fuel, because we've pretty much drained our tanks flying from Hurston Lagrange point 1 or 4, or whichever one we were at. So let's have a look. We go, once we've lined that up, B to start our quantum. B starts our quantum drive. Once it's spooled up, we hold down B, and then it takes us to our jump. Now there are settings you could go into. You could go into your option settings, and you could change the key commands around to suit what you prefer them set at. Because I'm kind of in a sense using this as a beginner's guide, all the settings I have are just set as basic, and that means I can just tell you when you set up your game, what the default settings are initially. You can change those to your heart's content, but at present we're just using the default settings. Wow, they're already giving me the option to call landing. That's quite new. Usually I don't get that. So calling up, we want to get landing permission, so we've got our Mobiglass open, go to comlink, go to friends, and say yes to landing services, close our Mobiglass, and we're going to be on this strut. You can, oh no, we're on the other strut. We are on the A strut. I thought because of our position we'd have been thrown onto the I think it's the B strut. B or D strut, I can never remember the other side. I think it's A, B, C, D going around, but this one we're going to is certainly the A strut, I do believe. We'll just bring it in nice and slow. Some ships, I was flying an Arrow last night with my Org, on my main account, and if I had the arrow up this far, I'd have been flying at 3 times the speed. I could have flown through the rings, but I didn't. We'll lower our landing gear now. Slowing down our speed. Now, when you come into a place like this, what you can do is, if you're lazy, you cut your speed, and then you just press N, and we get, once we've got our landing permissions, we do automatic landing. A really nice way to get a nice smooth landing and get yourself positioned for a nice smooth takeoff. Alright, so the only reason we're here is so that we can refuel. So we go to Mobilglass. This time we go to this button, the Vehicle Maintenance Services button. You can see that we need 21 units of repair, so we will repair our Aurora. That's probably wear and tear on our quantum drive, our coolers, and other aspects of the ship. Now, down the track, we will be able to do all of those at once. Generally, people at the moment, generally we don't try and do all 3 at once, and that's because at times the game is buggy, and so it's often you do your each of them one by one, and if you were filling your hydrogen fuel, that would be the last one you do. Again, I'm not going to fill my hydrogen fuel, just because A, I've got 98%, but B, as I usually turn my engines off on a planet or a moon, I would regenerate my hydrogen anyway. Alright, so we've done that. We're going to take off, and then we're going to, while we're still in this zone, we are going to check what missions are available, and hopefully we're going to find one of those find the missing person missions. Let's make sure we're a little bit more forward. Don't want to get clipped by that nasty ring that comes around, otherwise it will be very, very nasty and uncomfortable, and we do need to go forward a bit more. That's a little better. We're now a little bit further away from that ring. That would have been rather embarrassing, almost as bad as leaving my spaceship without a helmet. Alright, so opening our Mobilglass, we're now going to go back and have a look at the missions that are available. Hopefully there's more. So we go to our contracts manager, and yes, there are some more now. We've got 5 mercenary tickets. We'll click the claim jump, the call to arms in case we do run across any NPCs. What else? We've got 7 delivery missions. We've got a disposal of toxic waste. We've got a bounty hunter and those. We don't want those. And personal missions, we have an investigation, and here we need okay, I'm not sure. This one is, yes, we'll do this. This was actually one of the first missions that was put into game, and it was quite a good one. So in this mission, what we need to do is we need to go to Covalax Station, which is around one of the moons of Crusader, and once we've gone there, we need to check out find evidence to prove that Ellen Ward's husband, or Elaine Ward's husband, was not responsible for the fatal damage that was caused to the station, and then submit that information. And there are several ways you can do the information. Some will point to nefarious activities, some will point to innocence or otherwise, and depending on what you find and what you do will depend on what the outcome ends up being. But either way, I do believe we get paid. All we've got to do is make sure we submit it. So, quantum drive, and so this takes us to Daymar. Now the Covalax hub is on the other side of the moon, and so we need to go to an orbital marker over here. Okay, so we're coming up on Covalax mining hub, or Covalax shipping hub. So Covalax are one of the big companies in Star Citizen for delivering, and this is one of their kind of shipping hubs. All the produce would have come here and then been distributed throughout the Crusader region. This particular station has had a catastrophic failure, and so it's temporarily closed. And powered down. What I am going to do is turn our lights on, just so as we fly up we can actually have a look at how badly damaged the Covalax station is. There are landing pads, if I remember correctly, or am I getting that mixed up with Korea? I think I'm getting it mixed up with Korea. But what we usually do, or what I used to do, is just find the broken windows and then just park outside those and then go in. I'm not sure if there are other access points, but that was the access point I always used to use. So I'm pretty certain this is a very old asset now. Down the track we may find it is repaired or fixed up. That looks like a possible landing pad there, doesn't it? Back up a little bit. Because I decided to have a look, I actually have lost my usual orientation point, and at present I'm not sure exactly where the entrance is, but that's okay. I don't mind having a look at the broken Covalax station. I think we're on the sunny side. Let's have a look. Yes, we're the sunny side of Covalax station. Now, if this is an old asset, it's been in game. I don't think it's really been touched up for at all. It's a bit like Olisar, probably as old as Olisar in many ways, but with less reason to fix up any issues, because Olisar is basically a place where players spawn, or could spawn at one point. It used to be our only spawn point. Now we're on the dark side of the moon, dark side of the moon, dark side of the station, and all I'm really looking for is the blown out window which I used to enter. I am pretty certain there are other ways to get into this ship, or into this station. I've just never really paid attention to what they were or where they were. I wonder if this is a way in. Never tried this way before. It doesn't look like it'd be an access point, does it? Certainly could be a nice place to park your ship. On the dark side of the moon, on the dark side of the station, surrounded by the station, so you're not going to be looking out as much. But of course, because the station is also out of atmosphere, if we can't, there it is. I think that's it there. Let's have a look. So basically we're looking for an area with livers like these, but ones that have been blown out, and that's not them. And my memory says that they was on the dark side. Let's try to give me an access point. Nope, that won't give me an access point either. So I've got to find where it was. Where was that access point? It's impossible to find when you... It's been many years since I've been here. I don't think I've actually been here for at least 2 or 3 years. Actually, it's probably longer. It's probably been since probably 2015. Wow, that's 7 years. Let's go on a third person view and have a look around. Doesn't really help much either, does it? Let's just fly away for a little bit, get a better angle on where we're coming. Alright, so that is a landing pad. A damaged landing pad, but a landing pad. Which means that the window is there. So I was literally just flying around in circles around it. Well, we're going to just land. Actually, where was that other exit? That bit that I was thinking would be a nice place to hide the ship. So chance of someone coming by are minimal. You watch someone going to come by and either steal my ship or blow me up. Alright, so we're going to park our ship. Now, because we're in space and the gravity plates are not working and everything else, as you can see, we're not getting any landing. So we'll just leave our ship hovering here. We'll turn our lights off, and we will get ourselves out of a ship. So out of our chair. Actually, we'll turn our engines off as well, so we're not burning our hydrogen fuel. Helps to turn them off, not on. Now we'll get out of our seat. Check that my helmet is on. My helmet isn't. I can see that, but we'll double check anyway. And yes, our helmet is on. I vaguely remember when this first came out, we actually had access to mag boots, and mag boots, they were nice. You could actually walk on surfaces by just activating mags. Now, normally I would go through those windows. I have no idea. I cannot remember whether these doors work. I don't think they do, but we'll go down here and check. We'll turn our torch on, and this is just like an access to at Olisar. The stairs going down, and then you've got the paths. But I believe that because this station is basically powered down, the doors are not working. And you can see they're locked. So, oh no, the doors are locked. Now I would imagine if we had the door breach tools, we'd actually be able to force these open. We don't have those tools as yet. I have seen them talked about and kind of shown in around Star Citizen and information shows that CIG put out. That sounded like an explosion or someone arriving. It certainly sounded pretty scary. On my way out, I've been the gate is down. The gate is up, isn't it the line? So because the door's locked, we do need to go through the Covalax entrance where the doors have been, where the windows have been blown out. We'll just have a look down at our Aurora again. There's our Aurora still sitting there. So let's check out the Covalax Station. Alright, so now we need to go to the Covalax Shipping Hub and check things out. But as we go through, there are several of the terminals that are working. I did see one over the way, but let's have a look and see if any of these ones are also working. So, and we can actually turn our lights off, and we can see at the moment we do have a bit of light. Nope, that's not working. And so what we're going to be looking for is data pads, terminals that are working that are going to give us information, and yeah, we're just really seeing if there's what we can find that's going to help us understand what happened at the Covalax Station above Daymar. You can see it was a pretty critical problems went on with this station. And you can see I'm really good at 0G navigation. Not. And so we've got new messages on that screen. This is a screen I did see from a window, so let's go check out these new messages. Alright, so we listen to a couple of messages that seem to indicate that something went wrong. There was a power distribution problem. Alright, let's continue our search. So we'll just scan, use just seeing if there's anything else to pick up. Can't see anything that's can be picked up. One of the things that people used to do here is they used to steal. You'll notice the chair here is movable, so we bump the chair and the chair starts to move. So if I brought a bigger ship, that is an item we could actually steal. Actually, now that the tractor beam is working, let's open up our mobiGlas. Let's go to our equipment manager. And let's have a play with our Mobi tool. So we'll go to our Mobi tool, we'll go to our equipment, and we're going to attach the tractor beam. And let's have a play around with the tractor beam attachment. This is something I haven't used yet. Okay, so tractor beam out. Oh, that makes stealing things from here so much easier. This would make loading things into spaceships an absolute dream. And so if we went outside, we should find that chair outside. Oh yes, I could see a tractor beam is a godsend. So I can even use it if I can remember correctly. to pull myself forward, because the station's not going to move, and so because the station's not moving, the tractor beam will pull me towards it. So we're looking around, we're looking for, again, iPads or data pads or other bits of information that are lying around, and we're also searching our way through a station. We're going down to the bottom of the shaft, and that should take us to this exit, which we haven't come through. Now that looks like a data pad, not just a light. I think we've come back to our start point. Yes, we just flipped ourselves and came back to our start point. That's our pending messages. Alright, so we go down the, whoa. Disorientated again. And so we can't quite get through the door there. So we're going to need to find another way to that door. Maybe they have changed it. I always thought you went up the lift. And then once you're in the lift, it actually, oh, there's deck 3. Alright, so we're now on deck 3, but we started at deck 1. The deck 3 should be habitation. And you can see we've got some messages here, so we'll put our weapon away. Alright, so it looked like Darnell was keen to just do his job. Well, it looks like the husband was keen to do his job. Now, one of the things people used to do here, they used to take the Big Benny's machine out of here. I don't know whether it's still here. Has it been taken already? There's our Big Benny's machine. And that sounded like someone coming in. This door can be opened, so let's open this door. And so we can see the items we've actually picked up already. We could actually read those. So the door's not opening. That means we need to find the data key or a pad. I wish those explosions wouldn't keep going off. Okay, let's pull out our so we want to bring it to us. We scroll back on the mouse and it brings it to us. And so we'll put our tool away. Unfortunately, we can't actually interact with it anymore. What else have we got floating around this this hub? Because I'm assuming that open doorway there is one we want to get into. So nothing in this room. nothing in this room either. But we've got Darnell. We've got one room. It's not Darnell's room, I don't think. I can't remember whose room that is. I can't remember all these explosions that I'm hearing being part of the original. Certainly when I came in years ago, I don't remember those. It could have been that I just was so overwhelmed by the bits and pieces, and also the so we clearly need to get our all done now. He's a criminal by all of it. But clearly, if we want to get into that room, we need to find the we need to change the security pass override. I do wonder if I used a encryption key, I'd be able to get in, or a hacking tool. But I get a feeling at the moment that's not what the hacking tools have been made for, and I'm not going to try, because I do know from previous encounters with this mission that we can interact with items in the game that will actually give us what we need or what we're after. I'm just trying to remember where. I always thought there was a data pod around here, and I'm just trying to remember where it is, and then if I can find it, we'll use it. But people did used to steal the big bennies. They used to move it out by hand, and I don't think the Pips machine could be moved either. Yes, the Pips machine can't be moved. And we come around here, we find another room that again is empty of anything of note. So the rooms that have got stuff of note, they're the rooms that we can't get into yet because of the security seals. And so we just continue our merry little search around the deck. I think there was actually windows would actually fly through. I can't remember, or 0Gs through. I can't remember whether it was through the dining hall there or through the lift. I think there's a different lift than the one we used last time. So now we're in the shipping hub. Alright, so this is just a text message, as you can see. another pod there. Deck 2. Right, so this should now mean we can get into the other the files that we were unable to access before. Oh, magnetic boots would be wonderful here. I'm guessing that was because we actually had the oh, that was just the exit to get us out. Basically, once you've gone through all those, you've basically got all the information you need. But we know that we don't have all the information we need because there are 2 rooms that were still closed. So let's go back and have a look at those 2 closed rooms and see what we find in those. Who knows, we might find some loot we can steal, take for our own profit. We don't steal, do we? Now clearly it seems that Covalax has a problem with people doing the wrong thing. And it looks like they're trying to shaft some poor bugger who has who may have had issues in the past but was a diligent worker, and now they don't want to pay his insurance. Typical business. Typical of the corporations that we find in ArtCorp, Hurston, probably sorry, probably also ArtCorp, Hurston, probably a little bit of Microtech. My understanding of the Before Planets Crusader are the good guys. Their company still does a lot of philanthropy. A lot of their profits still go to supporting and helping the poor. Then I think the next one is Crusader. Not Crusader, is Microtech. Again, the Radagast whiskey I can't pick up, which is annoying. Back in the day, I think we used to be able to steal that. Oh, I should. That's highlighted. Is it highlighted? No. But the thing we actually want is this. Okay, so now we want young Oblosky, whatever her name was a dirty, rotten cheat. You used to be able to pull up the, I'll have to have a look at the files we could get before. Mainly because I was pretty certain there were the review files of the crew. You can see we can't get into that one. And I don't think I've found the review files yet of the character performances. So if we go into our Mobilglass and pull up our mission and go to our accepted missions, and we go to our investigation, our PI wanted. Now, where are the files? On the history? Is it the history? Nope. I'm just trying to remember where the files where we found, and I cannot remember where they are. They're not in that file, unless they're in the journal. There they are. So in our journal, we've got all the files that we recovered. So M. Molesky, M. Osowski is she's been obviously trafficking stuff for the laundry of goods, and that's what she's been trying to do. So this guy's found the he found the missing code that got us into her room, and then we've got Mel's recovered data. So this was them getting the rules that the new scanning techniques were in place, and she was trying to get a parcel past them. And so there you go, we've got the information that says Osowski's room, even though it was not able to be accessed, isn't a place of investigation, and the cleanup teams are going to do it. So this is an endeavour to sweep corruption under the table. And then we've got the tabs where we're talking about what was going on. So there you go, so that guy was on, and then we've got the other ones talking about that's the recovered comms. But there used to be one with the evaluation reviews of the staff as well that we could find. I haven't found that one yet. My memory was that was a data pad. There used to be also a data pad in one of the lift shafts. But I haven't seen any data pads, so they did actually make changes to this. And I'm pretty certain they did change some features in the map, or at least this level. And we've got a 30k, and that's the end of it, which is a shame because we'd actually finished the mission, and had I submitted it we would have had that mission complete. Unfortunately though, due to the fact that we just had a 30k, chances are we won't be able to continue that. I'm going to try anyway. I'm going to try logging back in, seeing if it actually just spawns me back where we were. If it does, great. If it doesn't, we're going to end up at Australis where we last landed, and so it's just a matter of waiting and finding out. If we have respawned at Australis, we'll also need to reclaim the Aurora Australis, because our Aurora is sitting on Covalax Station still, so we'll have to respawn that or reclaim that. Again, that is only a 2.5 minute wait, But what it does mean is we have lost the hour and 15 minutes that we just wandered around Covalax Station. And that can be, I personally find that a frustration. I do find 30Ks and other bugs that do crash the game at the moment frustrating. They are one of the reasons I don't usually do missions. Certainly in the past I haven't worried about doing too many trade missions, or certainly box missions I don't usually do, certainly investigation missions I don't do. So, you know, trading is probably the one of the things I do. Mining is something I'll do, because you don't lose. Generally, you won't lose your what you mined. You don't lose what you've mined. You certainly don't lose, and we're back on Olisar. You don't lose what you've mined, and you also don't lose what stuff you've got loaded onto your ship. As long as your ship is at a station, you won't lose it. If your ship disappears like mine did, and we hadn't landed on a station, it is considered lost. If I could possibly get to Covalax Station, I might find my ship still there, but I doubt it, because it will have respawned. So if I'd had cargo on my ship, if I could reclaim my ship, then my cargo would still be there, but I can't go to my ship and find it. It's, even though it says it's at Covalax Shipping Hub, we don't have it. We can't go there and get it, and as you see, it already shows up as destroyed, and so that leaves us with only one option, and that option is to reclaim. And so I'm pretty certain that mission is null and void, but we will log out, we'll pull away from here, and we'll just check our mission log and see what's in our. There we go. So it's just taking a bit of time to start the timer. And oh well, we do have all of those items still in our journal. This being, and the reason it's probably there is because this is probably the, like I said originally, the oldest mission in game, and it was in the game around the same time as we had the sweetheart of the galaxy, whose name is alluded. But there was the ICC station, and we get missions from there when we went there, and we check out the galaxy, find the pirates. Hey, there's been a request here to save this person. Oh, there's some vandal here, and she became the sweetheart of Star Citizen, and one of the characters who people can constantly say, bring her back, bring her back. And we're told she will be back, but at present we don't know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the mission log now, and we're going to see if we've still got that accepted mission. We don't have any accepted missions. I've still got all the details in my log, so that may actually mean if I do that investigation, okay, let's try accepting that offer. Alright, and let's go to our journal, and they're all still there. Okay, so now the question. We've got our accepted missions. Again, she still wants us to go there, but I do have all the equipment, so I'm going to see what happens if I submit all the stuff. And so that is the one mission in game that actually persists over a log, over a crash, because the information was in my contact, in my journal. I think now that we've uploaded it, that it's no longer, and it's still there in my journal. And so, and then she claims, she says, that was the company's board saying, you know, his claim was cancelled because of his alcoholism and addiction to drugs or narcotics. But while they not a crime in itself, they reduced his ability to do his job, and so they're saying it was null and void, and that's what we just investigated and found to be untrue. It was fortunate that all these files did stay in our journal. Had they not stayed in our journal, that mission would have been a bust, and the 1 hour and 15 or 20 minutes or so would have been lost. But that is the first mission for any beginner to do in Star Citizen, and that is worth 8,000 credits for you when you do it. And so there's that. Now let's see, it's 4:21, and so we've got a little bit of time left, so now we might just go do some mining. But I gotta tell you, the tractor beam was cool. That was the first time I'd used the tractor beam as well, and yeah, it was cool. Well, having reclaimed our, actually, what we don't want to do, we don't want to reclaim our Aurora. What we're going to do is see if we can buy any weapons or upgrades to the ship. Let's we'll go there, or restore our Aurora. If it's stored, it means when it's stored, it also means that I can actually pull it up on the ship loadout manager via the mobiGlas and actually change the features on it. If it's out on a deck or out in space or not at the right hangar, I don't think I can do that. Alright, so we'll go to Dumpers Depot. Hopefully the terminals are working. If they are, we will have a look at what we can buy. I often find the terminals don't work. You don't get the list of information, and it looks like this one is doing the same again. And so the bug here is that we should get a list of the stock and the types here, so weapons, systems. Oh, here they come. So this is one of the things I wasn't expecting to get working. The mining consumables are what we use on our prospector and mole, and so I'll click on that just to open it up, and you can see these are size 1 consumables. You put them on a size 1 mining head, and they'll do things. They'll do things. So this one will reduce the shatter damage you get, but it's also going to decrease charge rates. It's going to increase the heat generated, and it's also going to increase your signature size. So it's going to, the different heads are going to do different things. This one reduces the charge level by 50%. It reduces heat by 30%. So depending on which head you decide to use is going to depend on. It'll make you either better able to mine things that some rock may have been a bit hard. This will actually make it a little easier for you to burn those rocks. But you can see these actually have, these usables have a time frame, and as you use them, you burn them up, and you can see they are all worth from 800 all the way up to 2,250. Then we've got missiles, we've got size 2 missiles, we've got some bullets, we've got some Arrestor 2, Arrestor 3s, we're done with those. And these are the mining heads we could get. This one here, the Helix size 1 mining laser, is by far the best mining laser in the game. If you have a prospector, this will actually enable you to increase your mining capability. Similarly, if you have the mole, you also want to get the upgrade for the mole that gives you a size 2, and there's a helix mine upgrade for that as well. So let's have a look. This one has a maximum range and minimum range, but it gives a better ability to mine. And so again, these will have different scales and different abilities. And that will also have an impact on how well you can mine. Propulsion drives, so the quantum drives that are available. We've got the Atlas size 1, that is a grade civilian, the Bolian, the Colossus, again these are size 1s. Now we've got on our little ship, we've got the EOS, I believe, which is a size C grade civilian class, retails at 15,674 for UEC. If we want, we could try the Flood. The Flood is a D grade, that's a worse one. Keep going down. The Rush is equivalent to what we've got. The EOS is again equivalent to what we've got. Any of the C grades are equivalent to what we've got, but we don't want that. Stealth, so this is the same grade that we've got, but it's stealth, and so if you're worried about your ER signatures, this one will reduce the signatures that you need to have, or that your ship is producing, just by the quantum drive there. My experience with stealth drives is that they'll drop you out of warp further away from the location you're going to, and one advantage of that is that radars from people nearby aren't going to pick you up. They're not going to hear you boom in as often. So you use so Rolander's is just saying, and you'll see that in the chat, he's saying he uses the Lancelot mining head more than the Helix. And that makes sense. Like if we go back and have a look, the Helix mining head is 108,000, whereas the Lancet, not Lancelot, the Lancet mining head is a quarter of that price. And yet, if that mining head is an upgrade on what we've already got on our ship, on our Prospector or our Mole, well, in this case Prospector, you'd be looking for the size 2 variant for the Mole. But if you've got a sized, if that is an upgrade on your mining head you have by default on your Prospector, you're going to be able to mine more materials than you could base, and it's costing you a quarter of the price of the Helix. The advantage of the Helix is it basically will mine everything within its what the size 1 mine things can do. A Helix on a Mole, a size 2 Helix on a Mole will generally, I haven't come across anything that a size 2 Helix on a Mole can't do. That doesn't mean there's nothing out there at the moment, it's just I haven't experienced them. But it doesn't change, and it'll change those both parameters on the side of when you're looking at the rocks. So it'll make the green window bigger or smaller. It'll make the red zone either heat up slower or heat up faster. It'll enable more power to be put through into the rock. All of those things will be modified by the type of head and what the heads are doing. So going back to the systems, so I'm back at the the Atlas is the A grade. This is the top civilian class quantum drive. It will be quick, but it'll also chew up a lot more power, more fuel. The B grade, the industrial ones tend to, from memory, tend to be pretty good. So industrial and civilian are usually pretty good. Well, that was an unforeseen bonus there. So the mining heads will also add resistance. If you didn't see what happened then, Melanie Ward sent me another message. Basically, all the information we gathered that proved skullduggery and criminal activity resulted in not only her husband being exonerated and found innocent, but also proving that criminal activity had been done, and there was a reward for those, and she just sent it to me. So that 8,000 Alpha UEC mission actually just became a 20,000 Alpha UEC mission. So if you do all the little steps and hunt down all the little bits, and why can't I get into this door, and get into that door and do all the things you need to, you'll get 20,000 UEC. If you don't do that and just do the one little thing to say, hey, prove that the husband wasn't doing the wrong thing, you know, didn't get involved in the party and the other things, then you get your 8,000. So different ways, different values. I certainly was quite happy to get the 20,000. I'd forgotten it would do that, to be honest. Like I said, it's been about the last time I did the investigation was around 2015. I did it when it first came out, but I hadn't really gone back, and so I had actually forgotten the bonus payment. But hey, you don't knock a gift horse in the mouth, do you? So what we might do is, the only one that's is an A grade is a civilian. Oh, we got another. Oh, that's a size 3. We don't want a size 3 civilian. That'd break our bank. So what we're going to do is the XLs in the military are usually pretty good as well, but this is a size 2. We need a size 1. But the military ones, they tend to use a lot more energy. They do spool up really quickly, and that's really the big bonus you get with them. They spool up quickly. They do use a bit more fuel, but since we just made 20,000, let's upgrade to an A to number 1. Now, one of the nice things about these components is when we buy them in game, I can put this size 1 quantum drive into any ship that takes size 1. So when I advance past the Aurora, and I decide, hey, I'm going to go for a Avenger. The Avenger takes size 1, and so I can put these components I buy into the Avenger or any other size 1 ship that I own, and that means that these aren't necessarily just a buy for one ship and then can't be used. It's an investment that I can use on other ships. The downside is I can't use it on ships that are the next size up. I'd have to go, all my size 1 components will work on size 1 ships, but they won't work on ships that are size 2. And say the Drake Cutlass, for example, is a size 2 ship, and so size 2 components are required, if I remember correctly. You know, so that's one of the upsides and one of the downsides. So we could go the Atlas. What else could we get? We could also see there's shield generators. So we currently have C grade. I can't remember which ones they are. We've got full stop. So these are what we've got at the moment, I think. No, they're not. Okay, let's pull up the Moby Glass and have a look at what we do have. And hopefully when I try to come back, that'll be there. My memory says they were full block, but I think that's probably one of my other ships that I'm recalling. Mainly because I'm almost certain that our Bulwark. So the Bulwark shield generators are size 1, grade 3. So they're industrial shields. Industrial shields tend to have a large hit point pool, so they have a lot of points before it worn out, but they've got an average upgrade time. Civilian ones have less points and they go quicker, heal up quicker. Military, fast upgrade generally, but less of a pull. There is one military brand which we can get on the Prowler or the Talon fighters, the Tavaran ships made by Espera, and they are the Sukaron shields made by the Banu. And those shields stop pretty much everything, but they've got a small hit pool, and they also take longer to recharge. So these size 1 Sukaron shields, I think, take a total of 6 seconds before they actually start to recharge after they've been depleted, whereas a military shield starts to recharge, so the FR66s start to recharge after about a second. And that's like when your shields are down, a second feels like a lifetime. So there's different things to consider. The power plants will power our ship, and you can see our power plant is actually a grade 4 industrial. Hang on guys, just a second. Nope, I just thought there was a... hang on, I do have someone at my door. Back soon. I take it back, there was no one at my door, but it was the dog. The dog was rattling my door and making it sound like someone was knocking on. So I was, yeah, answered the door to find the dog looking at me with puppy dog eyes saying, let me in, let me in. Clearly it means there's probably a thunderstorm on the horizon somewhere. The dog really freaks out with the thunderstorms. And you can see that our ship here also has the D-grade coolers as well. So we've got D-grade and D-grade coolers, D-grade power plant, and C-grade shields. A propulsion unit is a C-grade civilian power plant, quantum drive. So C-grade, I actually think I don't mind C-grade. D-grade I tend to think are a bit woeful and weak, so I think that's what we're going to buy. We're actually going to upgrade our shields and our power plant. So let's have a look at what we can afford. No, it's not going to work. Oh, it did. Okay, so we could go to our A-grade civilian, or we could go to our B-grade industrial. Either of those would be good. Again, we could even go to I'd be even happy to go to a C-grade civilian rather than the D-grade. Oh, that was a C-grade, wasn't it? Was that right? It was a C-grade, wasn't it? Because it was the shield generators and the power plant that were D. So these ones are the A-grade military. They are really good, nice shields. They do they do have a lot of recharge rate, so the recharge rate is really quick. They don't have as many hit points though, or shielding strength as say the A-grade industrial. The A-grade industrial, slower recharge rate, but I think it's more than double the shield strength. We've got 2 shields. Maybe it's worthwhile looking at getting an A-grade industrial and a and an A grade military. So these ones here, they're D grade industrial. So we actually don't have access to the industrial A grade. I don't think what access to the industrial size 1 B grade or even C grade. So I think what we are going to do is we are going to take, so we could go a force wall, that's 21,000. What was the FR66? So the FR66, the force wall must have been, that's because it was a more expensive force wall. So this Guardian force wall B grade is 21,050, whereas this one, no, same company, but the A grade is actually cheaper. So I think we're going to buy 2 of those. Okay, so we've just increased our shielding power. Well, thank you. Gee, that sounded like Elaine Ward. Okay, going to our power plant now. Now we had a roughneck, and a roughneck was a D grade, and so we want to find a size 1 that is either a C, A, B or C. Alright, now the Defiant would be one that goes on the Dragonfly. We're not really after that. So this is a B grade. B grade civilian, so I've got B grade military, B grade civilian, a C grade civilian, a C grade military, B grade competition, so we don't have any A grade here, we do have B grade. I'm going to skip on those. Mainly because I know we'll be able to find a better power plant later on. I will probably find I want more power for just because I've increased those shields. I probably will find I do need to upgrade that power plant fairly soon. Our coolers, again, we could actually see what's available. We did have C grade, I think it was for those, and they were C grade civilian. So we could look at, you know, going those, but again, it just depends on what you're after. The glaciers, they're actually pretty good. You can see that we don't have enough of the Ice Flush size 3s, but we do have enough for a couple of the glacier A grade. So we're going to buy a couple of those as well. I actually think coolers in some ways are more important than other things. That is because they do help keep our weapons able to fire, and if you're an atrocious dogfighter like me, it is certainly something you do want to make sure you've got. So we're going to buy those as well. Alright, let's see if we can see any weapons. So come on, let me buy the weapons. We'll close the window and we'll come back. Okay, that was a bit buggy there. Alright, so we're just after our guns. These are distortion repeaters. Having distortion repeaters could be useful on the ship. These are for the Vanguard distortion repeaters. Size 6, they're big guns. We're up to size 1s. They're distortion repeaters, distortion repeaters, distortion repeaters. Cannons. And we are after size 1 laser repeaters, I think. neutron cannons. So no weapons that I would like to get either. And you can see the types of turrets we could pick up. So this would be where we would pick up our missile launcher type turrets from. So this is the missile launcher that we find on the Pisces. The Pisces has two of these, which is means a and I think the MSD is missile size deployment. So we got missile size 1, size of a missile, how many missiles it can take, 1, or what size of the hard point is. Next one is our missile number, and the last one is the missile count. And so down here we've got a 212. This is what we've currently got on our Aurora, which is a size 2 hard point, 1 size 2 missile. And this is the missile hard point that came with the EMR, sorry, a size 2 hard point with 2 size 1 missiles. And you can see that they go up quite high as well. And I don't know if you heard that, but that was thunder, and that would be why the dog was trying to get into my place. When there's thunder, it likes to get in and hide under my couch, because it is a scaredy cat. So we've done our purchases. We're not going to buy anything else at the moment. Oh, let's see what paints are available. Do we have any paints? Arrow, arrow, arrow. We don't want any arrow paints. These are way overpriced, by the way. Look at that, 23,500 for an Aurora green and gold paint job. 25,000 for an Aurora light and dark grey. They are exorbitant. I gotta admit, I wouldn't mind the green and gold. But on my other account, I do have those as part of what I own anyway. So yeah. So I'm not going to worry about that. The Australis is going to stay plain, although given that Australia's colours are green and gold, and I've just decided that the Aurora is going to be called the Aurora Australis, like the Southern Lights, I will probably end up buying the green and gold skin, but that's for another day. So now that we've bought our components, we're going to go into our mobiGlas, and just like we did previously, we're going to go into our ship terminal, our ship vehicle loadout terminal. We're going to select our Dragonfly, not our Dragonfly, dear me. We're going to select our Aurora MR Australis, and then we're going to change our systems. And so you can see now we've got the systems that are available to us, and we're going to put a glacier on that one, and we're going to put a glacier on that one. It's just a matter of clicking. Our power plant, we haven't bought power plant, but we did buy our shields, and so we're going to change our shields out as well. Now I didn't feel I really needed the shields, but the FR66s were there. They do recharge really quickly. I usually on smaller ships would pair one of those up with, say, I vacillate between one of those and a grade industrial for the bank of hit points versus the fast regeneration, and paired together they seem to go fairly well. The other pairing I do is a Sucheron shield with either an FR66 or again an industrial, and that's because the Sucherons have 100% resistance to ballistic and energy weapons, and so if you've got a fragile ship, using those is quite handy. But because they've got such a small hit pool, you actually don't just want to have those. You actually, I think, want to have a combination of shields to actually kind of meld and use both. I haven't yet worked out whether our shields, like on a small ship like the Aurora, whether one shield is doing the front and one shield is doing the back. My understanding at the moment is both shields are making an envelope, and so that's the route I'm running on at the moment. That may change down the track, but that's what I found works, is mixing the shields up so you get a kind of best of both worlds. The rain will cool things down for me, but I am concerned if I didn't have my my battery pack, ensuring I had a clean balance of power, I would probably logged off by now. But I've got about, if I do get a power short, I've got about 40 minutes before I have to power down the computer. I haven't got a power short yet, but I'm just letting you guys know that that's a possibility that we will be cutting short soon, just because of the thunder and rain that is coming. But yes, the rain, if it does come, will certainly cool things down. It is currently, today was a 38 degrees day. I don't think it reached that height because it's only 34 degrees Celsius in my little flat. Alright, so we've now equipped those. We do need to save our changes, and once those changes have been saved, as you can see, we don't no longer have a little arrow saying update pending. And if we go out and check our Aurora, or if I pull up my Aurora, then I would find that those things, what we've actually seen, they are equipped. So we've got the Glaciers, we've got the Roughneck, and we've got the FR66s. Unfortunately, we can't really see those on the ship. They're kind of internally placed, or at other places. I haven't worked out where they are on the Aurora. If I had other weapons and we equipped those, that would have been different. We probably do need to find ourselves a power plant, because those systems we have put on, they will have a greater power draw, and because we've got a D grade power source for our ship, that is going to struggle, I think, in extended situations. So that's one thing we are going to need to do. I do know that at Microtech, the component shop in Microtech does have a good range of the grade 1, the size 1 grade A components, and that's probably where I will end up having to go to get that. But I think at this point, while I was looking at going until about 5:30, 6 o'clock, it is getting close to 5 o'clock now. It's 10 to 5. I do think with the thunder booming overhead, or rolling overhead I should say, that now is probably a good time to say goodbye for the time being. Let's go into... So, this has been Jusatoon, or that's been Jusatoon. I've been Algared, and we're out of here. So take care, God bless, and be well.